So please come into our online space of hope and love, of peace and justice, of wholeness and healing. Come in here where we welcome the certain and the seeking, the lifers and the newcomers, the beloved and the brokenhearted. All of you can find a home here at Troop, where we go love the world from the heart of Pasadena and from the heart of our homes. Today's an extra special Zoom Sunday because it's a Sunday where we will officially welcome in new members to our Troop community. And today in service, we also continue to consider our spiritual journeys, how we're always in process of returning home to ourselves, though at times we may need to push some boulders out of the way in order to do so. As we gather this morning, Matthew reminded me that today is a pagan holiday, and so happy Lunasa to all of you. And if that's new for you, as it was for me, then that gives us something to Google over lunch today. So as much as you're able, I invite you to set aside your Google, set aside your phone and beeping sounds, set aside the newspaper, and begin to turn your eyes and hearts and spirits toward one another as we move across the threshold into this online Troop sacred space.
Our time together in worship is intimately connected with our daily lives. As a symbol of that connection, we light our home chalices in a spirit of love, hope, and peace. The days stretch out ahead of us. Our spiritual journey beckons, inviting us along a path to greater awareness of who we are meant to be. We light a candle to honor the people and ancestors whose lands we now occupy. In the chat box, you'll see a website that allows you to look up the tribal land you live upon based on zip code. Please feel free to put up the tribe's name in the chat box. The land under and around Troop was once and still is the land of the Tongva people. May this knowledge and awareness lead you into seeking justice and equity for all. We light a candle symbolizing our hopes and bearing witness to injustices in the world. Please feel free to type this into the chat box, the hopes you carry, the injustices we need to witness. We take a moment of silence, holding all of these in our hearts. Our Troop community moves along with us, encouraging one another's spiritual growth and helping us navigate around boulders that block our seeing and celebrating the fullness of each one of us. May we be gentle with one another as we move along that path, moving ever closer to the home of our souls.
And now, friends, take a moment to fully welcome one another into our troop sacred space on Zoom. Use the chat box to do so. And if you haven't already, you can also use this moment to gently scroll through the thumbnail videos of your friends and beloved ones who have gathered here this morning. Cindy Bradeen offers a welcome and how good it is to see our faces. Yes, indeed. And there's a lot of action about the pagan holiday in the chat box. And again, I'm really thankful for Matthew for lifting that up to me this morning. Lynn Sexton says, hello, dear ones. David Drum welcomes us all on this warm summer day. Sky Hannah sends warm joy and a big digital wave of love to all of you. Oh, and the energy it took to come today. Thank you. And Arlen's in paradise. So clearly I'm going to need to scroll through these thumbnail videos and check that out for myself. Well, welcome one and all. Please continue to connect, to chat, to send your love and wishes of well-being to one another throughout this Zoom time together. We move into words that connect us each and every Sunday. It's the promise to our planet. And if you're able to click and unmute yourselves as we share these words together. As members
of the family of living beings on earth, we are guided by the Unitarian Universalist principle of respect, independent will, full existence, which we are a part of. Hearts filled with love for it, eyes nurtured beauty, and minds ruminating on ways to protect sacred and scarce resources. We promise the well-being of all life and of the planet itself.
Today is one of those extra special days because it's a day that we intentionally welcome some of our newest members into the troop community. And what a fun kind of challenge and opportunity to do so during this time of social distancing or compassionate spacing, as we often call it at troop. And so today we welcome these new members into our troop community. Adriana Gutierrez, Barbara Kent, Carson Price, Harlow Robinson, Megan Brooks, and Robert Hawley. Yay! And becoming a member of troop represents promises that we have chosen to make to one another. We make a promise to move together in covenant, to embrace our congregational covenant of right relations, to be in intentional relationship and community with each other. Some ways that intentionality shows up at Troop is our willingness to just be curious together and ask questions, to hold emotional space for each other, and that has shown up so strongly these past few months. To take the time to really see the whole and holy person who is in front of us, and also to be vulnerable and allow ourselves to be seen by others. So those who are joining this morning, we are so glad you've chosen this community of fellow seekers to be part of. We had a new member ceremony on the back patio, and I already asked these new members the series of 4 questions that many of you are asked when you became a member. But I'm going to repeat those now so we can all kind of remember what we had agreed to, those of you who have joined recently. And if you are one of those new members, if you're able to unmute yourself, when I get to the point of you saying, I will, please let us hear your beautiful voice saying, I will. So will you engage with us as we go out and love the world?
I will.
I will.
Will you tend to your own spiritual life, seeking truth and meaning?
I will.
I will.
Will you help us move toward more just relationship with people and outside our congregation?
I will.
I will.
And finally, will you help us live into our promise to our planet, nurturing the well-being of all life?
I will.
Thank you. I hand it over to Roy, president of the board, and you can re-mute yourselves.
Morning, everyone. Congregation, it's time for you to voice your intent to be in covenant with our newest members. The heart of Troop is our understanding that the church is you, our people. You are Troop. You are the ones who share our message of love with the world. That message of love is grounded in our relationship with one another. Will you welcome these new members with the warmth and comfort of your fellowship? Will you seek to add your strengths and talents to the new gifts they bring to us? Will you share our triumphs and our struggles as our community grows and changes? If so, please respond, we will.
We will.
We will.
We will.
And one of the important rituals at our congregation for the past many years and decades has been for new members to sign our membership book. And there are names in that book that date all the way back to 1916. And thanks to Terry Trindler for taking video footage and Andriana Gutierrez for editing it into a video, we now get to experience the joy and honor of them joining their names with ours.
For the splendor of the skies, for the love which from our birth over and around us lies. Source of all, to thee we raise this, our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of ear and eye, for the heart and mind's delight, for the mystic harmony, linking sense to sound and sight. Source of all, to thee we raise this, our hymn of grateful praise.
Welcome and
invite you to join our voice in harmony with ours. We welcome you and invite you to share a spiritual journey with us. We offer our voices.
We welcome
you and invite you to participate, making connect deep
in our
connections.
community.
Offer our blessings.
We welcome you and
Invite you to share your time, talent, and treasure with us.
Offer our blessings.
We welcome
you and invite you to share in our mission to participate fully with this congregation.
I share faith and love this congregation. We offer our blessing to you.
So continue to offer your welcome, your blessings to these new members. Do that in the chat box. And thank you all, our new members and continuing members who breathe so much life and spirit and joy into this congregation, and who help all of us on our searches for truth and meaning, encouraging us in our spiritual growth. So with that feeling of joy and happiness and welcome in our hearts, I invite you to take this moment and breathe in together, gently exhaling out. Take a breath in as we get ready to share a moment of silence. Gently close your eyes if that feels right to you. This morning we've been connecting with one another, rekindling the friendships that we carry with us throughout the week. And our hearts are full as we welcome these new members fully into the life of Troop. We've been putting energy out, and now it's time to bring a little bit of that energy inward. Focusing on our breath, even for just a few moments or minutes a week, can help ground us, can help settle us in these anxious times, can help bring clarity when there are days when it seems like our minds are traveling really far out into the universe. Focusing on our breath can move us away from anxious places. Can be a gentle guide when we find ourselves in the wilderness areas of our life. As you focus on your breath, give some attention to your body. And as you can, let your attention and intention move into your body and really inhabit it. Reaching for a connection between mind and body and spirit. Continuing to be mindful of your own breath, your own body on this beautiful planet of ours. there is someone in your life who is in need of loving and healing energy, put their name in our chat box. And as we continue in this time of intentional stillness, I invite all of us, as we're able, to send a bit of our loving energy toward those names. We send our troop love, energy, a sense of well-being to Lisa, to Mike, to Mary, Lila, Nia, Karen, Mark, Aroxy, Nick Wu, Susan's son, Britt, Richard, our inner child selves, to Eric, Tom, Alyssa, Willow. And now, thank you, Susan. We send our beautiful troop love out into the world. And may all of this be felt in some way, some form, some fashion by those who really need to feel our embrace and care on this day. Amen.
Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul.
Join with us.
Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul.
Return to who you are.
Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return to who you are. Return to what you are. Return to where you are. Born and reborn again. Return to who you are. Return to what you are. Return to where you are. Born and reborn again. Return again. Return again. Return to the home of your soul.
Last time.
Return again. Return
This spring and summer, wow, so much has been shut down. I've tried to make a point of walking around my neighborhood, watching those gradual seasonal changes, moving my body, being out and about in the world. It's helped me return a little bit to the home of my soul in these days where, frankly, it has often felt so untethered. I live just above the Arroyo Seco. And if you're familiar with the Arroyo Seco, you know there are those beautiful arroyo stones. And so many of those stones have made their way into our neighborhoods, whether it's a pathway or house foundation, the bottom of a front porch. Maybe you see them in your neighborhood also if you live somewhere in the Arroyo watershed. And once you start looking for them, it almost becomes a game of how many of them you can see scattered throughout and providing some of the landscape in your own neighborhood. You'll see them so many places. And as I look at all that beautiful stonework, I appreciate it. And I also think about how heavy and cumbersome it must have been to move all of those stones, and how I hope it was a real labor of love for whoever was involved in doing that. And as pretty as all of those stones are, I also wonder a little bit, as gorgeous as they are where they've landed, if there's some little bit of those stones that miss their former home along the riverbed. I wonder if there are times of day when they think, I miss smelling the sages. I miss seeing those coyotes wander along the riverbanks. I miss in the spring hearing those occasional roaring floods of the spring rainwaters. And I wonder if sometimes they miss settling into silence as the sun sets. And I'm imagining the former life of these stones. It reminds me a little bit of you and me this spring and summer. There we were back in March, more or less minding our own business. And in a heartbeat, we found ourselves on this unexpected and pretty strange path, away from our familiar surroundings, away from our familiar schedules. And I know that we are all trying to make the best of it right now. In early March, the path we saw in front of us before the safer at home orders, it was a path that was somewhat familiar, even though it may have been uncomfortable or unwanted by some of us on it. There we were, and we looked up and we saw this huge bend in the road. And there wasn't just an unexpected bend in the road. We saw that it was cluttered and covered with oversized stones and boulders. And as we stood there and looked at it, we realized we don't really have an option to go backward, even though we know what is that way. And we didn't have the option to just stay in stillness and wait this out. We had to move forward. And there have been so many times in my own life when I started down an unfamiliar path and stumbled. When I've skidded on loose gravel. One time I broke my toe on a rock, and still to this day, even though it was many, many years ago, one of my toes goes that way because of the break. And I've fallen so many times that my knees have permanent scars on them. The strange road we found ourselves on this year, it seems like it is just full of debris, right? We look out and we see the gravel, the give up and just go home gravel. It's just too much and I don't want to deal with it. We see the I am sick of solitude and solitary time stones. They are just right out there in front of us. What are some of the stones lying in your own pathway? What names would you give them today? And as we moved deeper into summer, we looked up and realized there are some huge and heavy, oversized boulders that have blocked our collective roads for way too long. Those boulders of racism and sexism, those boulders of excessive materialism that are harming our planet and our very souls, those huge and heavy boulders that make up white supremacy systems of suffering and oppression. And we realized as we looked out at them that not only do they block our way forward, but they had blocked our very pathway into the homes of our own souls. One gift of this particular time of life is that with this forced slowing down, it's become harder to rush by, ignore, or even forget about these stones that lay along our pathways. And it's giving us a chance to look at them with new eyes and to consider new strategies for removing them. One thing I'm really cognizant of as I look at the stonework around my neighborhood, even though I'm filled with some sadness that the stones were removed in the first place out of their natural habitat, I do enjoy the beautiful patterns they make and the symbols of home and care that I also see as I look at them. But I always remember that those stones, heavy and bulky, you would imagine impossible to roll up out of the ravine. No one, of course, moved those stones all by themselves. They had a team of people, and it took many hands and many days to move them. Even as we're on it, the path that we are on right now, it continues to change and shift. Some mornings it changes as the news feed rolls by us on our phone or tablet or computer screen. That's causing us to adapt quickly to the changes and challenges of these days. It's something that gives me hope. That gives me hope as we welcomed in our new members today. That gives me hope as we are able to gather here in this strange and wonderful format of Zoom. It's a reminder that as we adapt to these challenges, we don't do it on our own. We do it together. We keep moving forward together, asking for help when one of us needs it, offering help when we have the energy and ability to give it. We'll keep moving through this together, helping one another navigate in and around, hopefully removing altogether those big boulders, the smaller stones that get in the way of returning to the homes of our souls.
Gonna keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Keep on on moving forward, never turning back, never turning back. Sigamos adelante, siempre adelante, siempre adelante, sin volver atrás, sin volver atrás. Gonna keep on loving boldly, keep on loving boldly, keep on loving boldly, never turning back, never turning back. Amaremos con pasión, siempre con pasión, siempre con pasión, sin volver atrás, sin volver atrás. Gonna reach across our borders, reach across our borders, reach across our borders, never turning back, never turning back. Vivamos sin fronteras, siempre sin fronteras, siempre sin fronteras, sin volver atrás, sin volver atrás. Gonna reunite the family, reunite the family, reunite the family, never turning back, never turning back. Familias reunidas, siempre reunidas, siempre reunidas, sin volver atrás, sin volver atrás. Gonna keep on moving forward, keep on moving forward, keep on moving forward, never turning back, 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 never turning back.
Peace.
We love you.
And we keep on moving forward with the help of one another in so many ways. I see you all reaching out to each other with care and concern. Social distancing picnics, texts, Facebook messages, phone calls, messages here in the chat, letters that you write one another. And you help us keep on moving forward by financially supporting Troop at whatever level you are able to do that. You all have been so incredibly generous since we started this time of social distancing. And I want to thank you for supporting your spiritual and religious home of Troop UU. You can donate online on the webpage, you can text to give, you can send in a check. Because of you, we continue to be here in this way. Thank you so much. We also, each week, your board of trustees is recognizing someone who offers up their time and talent in special and unique ways. And today, Terry Trindler, the treasurer of the board, will offer our Super Trooper Award.
Thank you, Tara. I'm very happy to have been early volunteer to work with this trooper who has recently decided to become a little tiny bit less active, but we owe her a huge number of rounds of thank you. Julia Palou has taken charge of our Christmas decorations. She was the main force behind the backpack drive last year. She's still collecting monies for the women's room this year. She was doing the lunches for the women's room monthly and quarterly. So many things, especially now during our time apart, still reaching out and doing safely distanced picnics with me as well. And she was the one who brought me on to the welcoming committee before I became a member of the board. So everyone laud her. She is truly a super trooper.
Thank you very much.
Like your mother in the murder mystery, that's right.
Oh, Julia.
Just not the killer.
So thank you so much to all of you who helped make today's service happen. Of course, we have Matthew P. Taylor on tech. Thank you to Roy for offering our chalice lighting words and helping to lead the new member welcome. Thank you to Andriana and to Terry for the video footage and the editing of that beautiful new member video. Thank you, Taryn, for serving as the chat box greeter today. So for all the blessings in our community, please say with me the response to the offering. For the ministries of the church
and our community, we bless our offering with love and hope.
This is but one way for you to make connections with each other during the week. Please keep your eye out for the Tuesday tidings and Facebook announcements, and there might be a link in the chat box for ways you can continue to deepen connections with one another in the week and days to come. If you lit a chalice or a candle at home, I invite you to bring it forward and to gently extinguish it, knowing that though the light may be extinguished, we carry the light with us into the world. And may we move forward together, moving stones and boulders out of each other's way. Wish I could help pick that up right there. Knowing that we are truly stronger together, knowing that we are here for one another. I love you all. Go out and love the world. Amen and blessed be.
This is the Boston Gay Men's Chorus. We thought in these trying times to provide comfort, we would send out a performance of Everything Possible done by a virtual choir. All the individual members of the chorus are all over New England recording on their own. Enjoy, be safe, be happy.